Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin here from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, and we're back with another rabbit farming video. Now if you saw last week's video, we started talking about the importance of record keeping, and we went through all the various formats for doing that. Today we're going to touch a bit more on the individual aspects of record keeping and how it affects your operation. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be back with more on this right after our intro. Okay guys, so we're back. Today we're talking a bit about the benefits of having a proper record keeping system. Now if you've been following our channel, you would have seen a number of videos that we did before that would have led up to this one. I'm talking about some of the tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis that by themselves seem a bit arbitrary, but only when all the data is compiled, then you see the full picture. Now if it's your first time here with us, then you definitely need to click that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that red subscribe button right now, and make sure you hit the little bell so you'll get notifications whenever we upload new content. So now let's look at some of the things that you're going to need to record on a day-to-day basis to facilitate proper record keeping and to draw the intangible benefits that come with it. The first one is tattooing. Now this is straightforward. You need to tattoo your rabbits because you need to be able to identify them. Now for us it makes things a lot easier, especially if we have to do any rearranging within the rabbitry, moving rabbits around. Then you don't have to be worried about mixing them up, especially if you have a large number of rabbits of the same breed, like for instance New Zealand whites like we do. Then it's easy to move rabbits from cage to cage without having to worry too much about identifying them at a later date. Now for us, we tattoo all our rabbits. Some people may not want to go that far, but it works for us. We tattoo all our breeders as well as all our litters after they're weaned. We tattoo them with their litter ID number so that we can identify them easier. And then when we decide who we're keeping from that litter, they will then be tattooed with their individual identification number. Yes, so another very important aspect of the record keeping process is weighing your rabbits. Now we've done videos previously on both aspects of tattooing and weighing. If you haven't seen those videos, then you definitely need to check those out. I'll leave the links for those in the description below this video. But if you've seen them already, then you have an idea of what we're talking about. Now we know that weighing our rabbits is really important. You should periodically weigh all your breeding rabbits as well as your litters. Weighing your breeders, especially your breeding does, will help you to monitor the health of your rabbits. Okay, if your rabbit is either overweight or underweight, then chances of conception are significantly reduced. So you need to maintain them at the ideal breeding weight. Litters, on the other hand, should be weighed approximately when they're 2 weeks old, then at the time of weaning, and then again sometime thereafter before they're culled. Now it's up to you how many times you want to weigh your rabbits within that time. Obviously, the more data you collect, a more detailed analysis you'll be able to do. So it's entirely up to you. Weighing your litters will tell you which kits grow the fastest, if that is one of the criteria you are going to be using to select which kits from a litter to keep. It will also give you an idea of which does are the best nursing mothers. Again, these are litters that you may want to select kits from to keep because you might want to pass on that particular trait in your future breeding stock. Something that I don't think a lot of farmers do is weighing your feed. you need to be keeping track of the volume of feed or the weight of feed that you're actually feeding to your rabbits on a daily basis. The weight of feed that you're using is going to help you to calculate your feed conversion ratio. And that is something that is very important in a commercial setup. Now, this is a topic that we've touched on several times in other videos. So I'm sure that when you go back to look at our video on weighing of rabbits, you'll get more detailed information on feed conversion ratio. So definitely check that video out. Okay, now another task that has become increasingly relevant in recent times, and that is the recording of daily temperatures throughout your rabbitry. This is especially important here in the Caribbean, where it gets really hot during the day. Like now, in what we consider our dry season, we have some extremely high temperatures during the day, and a lot of people don't spend much time inside their rabbitry during the day, so they may not be aware of how high or how hot it really gets within the rabbitry during the day. Now, it may seem cool to you, but remember, for rabbits that are literally wearing a fur coat, it may be even hotter. So other than just depending on how you feel, you should definitely look at installing some thermometers. And I wouldn't think about one thermometer would be sufficient. For me, I'm looking at installing about 3 thermometers at different points throughout the rabbitry. So I'll also be able to see if there's any fluctuation in temperatures at different points during the day. Now, we all know that heat and heat stress directly affects the growth of your rabbits. So it's very important that we try to keep them as cool as possible. I've been speaking to a lot of other rabbit farmers recently, and our analysis along with theirs has shown that there's a direct link between the local temperatures and a rise in post-weaning mortality. We are also seeing an increase in buck sterility. So now, with the use of a microscope, we are constantly performing semen analysis on all of our bucks before we do any inseminations. Now, keeping your rabbitry cool, it's up to you. I don't know your budget, but there are some simple things you can do. Some people will install a few more windows throughout their rabbitry to allow a lot more airflow. You may have to look at raising your roof or your ceiling, depending on how low it is or how high your cages are stacked. Depending on your setup, you may have to install some fans, or in cases where your rabbitry is partially or totally enclosed, you may have to look at installing some type of cooling system. A common system that I see people using nowadays is the same type of evaporative cooling system that I used on commercial chicken farms. Okay, I've seen a lot of rabbit farmers in recent times, at least in North America, have been doing that. I haven't seen anyone do it here as yet in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you all know anyone who's done it, please let me know in the comment section who it is, if they're willing to give their contact information so we can have a chat with them and see what type of results they're achieving having done that. Okay, so definitely work on keeping your rabbits as cool as possible. Okay, now obviously you're running a rabbit farm, or even if it's a small backyard setup, you're gonna have to keep breeding records. Now, most record keeping systems are going to include things like conception rate, litter sizes, litter survival rate, and well, obviously, as we said before, with weighing, you're going to be monitoring their growth rate. All of these things are going to help you make important decisions within your rabbitry. But your breeding records are going to help you to determine doe and buck performance levels. Using this information, you'll be able to cull or eliminate the does or bucks from your herd that aren't performing. Now, we run a commercial system, so we know from personal experience how important it is to eliminate animals that aren't performing up to your required standard. The thing is that a lot of rabbit farmers, especially on a smaller scale, they tend to have this emotional attachment to their rabbits. So they'll have a rabbit that's not performing, but they're going to keep that rabbit because they like their color, they like their size, they like their temperament, or it's just, I mean, well, if it's a pet, obviously that's totally different. But we're talking here about production. If you're dealing with production, you have no space in your rabbitry for animals that are not performing, irregardless of all their other features, traits, and characteristics. Time is money. If you're not performing, and that's something you're going to have to do from time to time, and we do it all the time. Every month or two, we go through our entire herd looking at performance levels, and we eliminate all those that fall below our standard. Sometimes it might seem harsh, but by doing so, you also ensure that you're only keeping animals that are going to pass on good traits. You want rabbits that perform well, that will produce future stock that also perform well. So you guys definitely need to eliminate that emotional attachment and look at the figures when making these types of decisions. Just something for you to think about. Now let's talk a bit about pricing. This, especially here in Trinidad and Tobago, has always been a touchy subject whenever it's discussed among rabbit farmers. Now, I personally believe that it is better to reduce your cost of production as opposed to increasing your retail price. But that's just me. There are a lot of farmers who I've spoken to who imply or state that they think, feel, or believe that their meat is worth a certain price, or that it shouldn't be sold for less than a certain price. But the fact of the matter is, final pricing has very little at all to do with your emotions. Now, I know some people are going to take offense to this, but that's okay. I only deal with the truth. Final pricing has little or nothing at all to do with your emotions, and everything to do with your actual cost of production, a reasonable markup for profit, and a fluctuating market demand. These are the aspects that determine final pricing, not what you feel or think. Of course, there are things that you're going to take into consideration, like the health aspect, where you know that rabbit meat is so much healthier than other forms of meat, and of course you're going to want to sell it at a better price to accentuate its value. But this has to be done within reason, because if you focus primarily on the health aspect and what you think or feel the meat is valued at, then you're basically ensuring that your meat always remains a niche product. There's no way you can ever go fully commercial without looking at ways to reduce your retail price, especially if you're thinking about really going big in rabbit farming and looking at creating an export market. Then you're definitely going to have to look at your actual production cost so you can set a reasonable wholesale price, because the reality is that no one is going to buy large volumes of meat at retail price. So guys, that's just something for you all to think about. Another thing I neglected to mention, in fact it just came to my mind as I'm recording this video, when we're looking at our breeding records. Now, I mean, there are so many intricacies and little things that you can draw from proper record keeping that, I mean, I'm not going to be able to touch on all of them in this video. So if of course you can think of something that I didn't mention, feel free to leave a comment below and we'll pick up on it and we'll touch on that in a subsequent video, as well as for the benefit of the other viewers as well. Don't keep the points to yourself. Don't be afraid to mention them in the comments below so that other persons can benefit from your answer. But something that I just thought of, when you're looking at your breeding records, you are going to be able to determine which pairs produce the best litters. In a case like that, let's say you have a particular pair that you've bred and their litter outgrows and outperforms all other pairings, then it would make sense that you would continue to breed that same pair to each other to continue to produce a higher standard or a better quality litter. On the other hand, it might also give you a good idea of which pairs you don't want to mate a second time, or second or even a third time, because their litters may fall well below your set standard. Now, we spoke a bit about cost of production and the pricing of your final product. So hand in hand with calculating your actual cost of production would obviously be all of your expenses. The major one obviously will be the cost of feed that you're purchasing if you're using commercially produced pellets. So whichever record keeping system you decide to use, ensure that there is some type of ledger where you can keep track of all your income and expenditure. That way you'll be able to determine when your rabbitry becomes profitable, or if you want to take it even further, you'll be able to calculate what is called your break-even analysis. Now, I don't want to get too technical. Alright, this is something you all can do some research on, but your break-even analysis is basically, in the case of commercial production, you'll be able to work out exactly how much end product you will need to produce to cover all the money that you would have spent to produce it. Now, I hope that makes sense. So if for the month of February you would have spent $500 to maintain the day-to-day operations of your rabbitry, you would calculate how much end product, or in this case, how much rabbit meat you will need to sell to cover that $500 that you would have spent. That is, in a nutshell, that is your break-even analysis. Right? Now, it could be a lot more technical than that, but that is it in a nutshell. That is the thinking you want to have. You're going to be able to know how much money you spend each month to maintain your rabbitry, so you will know beforehand how much meat you need to sell to cover that monthly expense. And then from there on, everything else would be profit. So that is something you guys could look at, work it out. Like I said, do some more research on that, but definitely is something that you should be applying in your day-to-day operations. Now let me touch on a subject that is very close to my heart as far as rabbit farming is concerned, and it sometimes annoys me a bit, for want of a better word, because it's in line with one of the bigger goals that we at Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce have in store for the rabbit farming industry in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the topic of purebred and pedigreed rabbits. I think, now if you haven't seen our video on purebred and pedigreed, of course go have a look at that. I'll leave the link in the description below. But if you look at that video, you will get a better understanding of the meaning of purebred and pedigree. Because it's a term, especially the term purebred, it's a term that people use very loosely throughout the rabbit industry here in Trinidad and Tobago without any type of documentation to support what they're saying. Now, I know a lot of rabbit farmers that have purebred rabbits because, like ourselves, they would have imported quality breeding stock from other countries, right? From countries where rabbits are registered. So they come with paperwork. And this is something that we have or have been planning for the longest while to initiate here in Trinidad and Tobago, where we can get the rabbit industry to a point where we have an official body that governs the registering of rabbit farms and rabbits, so that we will be able to keep proper track of bloodlines and pedigrees, so that we can improve the quality of stock throughout the entire country. So at times I'll be on social media and I'll see posts that people have put up with rabbits that they're stating are purebred, and if they are, fine. But if you're not sure, then I don't think you should promote them as purebred. I mean, one of the first steps to us improving the quality of rabbits in Trinidad and Tobago is the integrity of rabbit breeders. You all need to be honest with your customers and don't get all caught up on just making the sale, but be more about making a proper, genuine sale that is not going to just benefit you financially, but is also going to benefit the person who is purchasing those rabbits, because then they would have gained quality stock from you that they can replicate to grow their own farm, and in future also produce quality breeders for other farmers. So guys, I think I'll leave it there for today. Like I said, if I didn't touch on any aspect of record keeping that you think is important, or something that you have implemented on your farm that you think would be a good idea for other farmers, please leave a comment below and we will pick up on it in our next video. We want feedback from you guys. We want to know what's going on out there. Let us know what you think about this video, whether you agree, whether you disagree. It's a democratic state. You're free to comment. No one, at least I hope that no one else in the comments is going to condemn you for your opinion. We encourage freedom of speech, just as long as you keep it respectful. Most important. So, it's always great to have you guys here with us. Now don't forget to hit that like button, as well as if you didn't like the video, feel free to hit the dislike button. But like I said, execute your right to vote, right? So if you like this video, please click that like button. If you think that this information would be beneficial to someone else, then feel free to share the link with them so they can come on and have a look as well and join our growing community. So without further ado, on behalf of my business partner Sean McLean, who couldn't be here today, we at Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, we thank you for being with us today, tuning in to another one of our rabbit farming videos. Don't forget, this coming Wednesday we'll have a brand new aquaponics video, so definitely look out for that, and we'll see you guys there. Peace.